Okay, so let's have a look at an example here. Okay, so we've got a table of distribution, a table of probabilities here, and she's found that the number of, from the past records of 25 Saturday nights, she's looked at the number of lobsters sold on a Saturday. So why would she be interested in the number of lobsters sold? Yes, she needs to know how many to provide. What's so special about lobsters? Yeah, they're expensive. If we're talking about, butter or something like that, or cabbages, who cares if she's got too many cabbages or not enough cabbages? But lobsters, they're expensive, and they don't keep. So you've got to be very careful with things like that, and that can make the difference between a restaurant making a profit and not making a profit. What happens if she doesn't have enough lobsters? Yeah, annoying customers come along, especially for their lobster, they turn up and say, sorry, lobster's off. Okay, what happens if she never ever runs out of lobsters? What would that indicate? Anyone got an idea? What's wrong with... It's actually bad if she never runs out of lobsters. Why is it bad if she never runs out of lobsters? She's got too many. She is wasting money, basically. She will have a surplus of lobsters a lot of the time. I remember once someone saying to me that they were really appalled. They once went to KFC and they'd run out of chicken. And they thought that was sort of like, the most terrible thing that could happen. And I said, well, actually, if they never run out of chicken, they're stocking too much. I mean, sure, it should be maybe once a year or once every 2 or 3 years. But if a shop never runs out, it means that they're actually carrying too much inventory. Okay, so how we work this as a probability distribution is we define X as the number of lobsters sold on a Saturday night. So here you can see you can have the values of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, let's have a think about this. Is this a priori, relative frequency, or subjective? Okay, we're just going back to what we did last week. Hands up if you think it's a priori. Hands up if you think it's relative frequency. Good, we've got a few people. It is. It's relative frequency. It's because she's looking at what happened in the past. It's historic. It's not opinion. It's not sort of like, oh yeah, I think I might sell 5 lobsters tonight. It's based on historical evidence. So if we use her data to provide her an estimate of the probability distribution. So what we've got here is the nights that this number of lobsters were sold. So it seems that most often they sell 2 lobsters, but sometimes 2 nights out of the 25 they've sold 5 rather. Okay, so what is the probability that she'll sell exactly 2 lobsters next Saturday? So the way we write that is that we go the probability that X equals 2, and we look here and we can see 2 and the probability is 0.32. So that's a third. Okay, what's the probability that she'll sell more than 2 lobsters next Saturday? So that's the probability that X is greater than 2. Now if you're still not happy with these little greater than or less than signs, you're going to have to get them sorted because we use them a lot now. So we've got 0.1, so it's the probability here of more than 2, more than 2, more than 2. So 0.12 plus 0.12 plus 0.08, which equals, I haven't added it up, whatever it adds up to. Okay, so then here, what's the probability she'll sell 3 lobsters or fewer? So that's the probability that X is less than or equal to 3. Okay, notice that this is just greater than, and this is less than or equal to, because it includes 3. And so we've got to have, so that's the probability that X equals 0, plus the probability that X equals 1, plus the probability that X equals 2, and so on. And that's going to be equal to 0.16 plus 0.2 plus 0.32 plus 0.12, which equals 0.8. So what she can look at there is she can decide, well, what level, how often is it okay for me to run out of lobsters? And so she might think, well, 0.08, that's less than 10% of the time. I think I can live with that, so I'm always going to make sure I've got 4 lobsters. And then you think, well, how often is she going to have too much? And so you can actually work that out. And you can, in fact, work out various other things. But that's not what we do in this course. This is something we do a little bit in Management Science 101, but we also do it quite a lot in operations management, because operations management is about making sure that you have the stock you need but not too much and so on.